So this story is disastrous. In the midst of the budget negotiations, they snuck something into that resolution that is potentially horrific and undermines our democracy. So The Intercept, with a great report from Alex Emmons and Ryan Grimm on this, they explain this provision, the provision first reported by The Intercept, appeared in the House version of the spending bill last week and modified the 70-year-old law that first chartered the CIA. It removed language that required intelligence agencies to spend money according to Congress's instructions and replaced it with a provision that allows the agencies to move money around freely and without Congress's knowledge. Oh boy, you understand that? They just passed into law that the CIA and the intelligence agencies don't have to check with Congress. Now they can move money around. Oh, cut off funding for what? That doesn't matter. I can move it around to a project. You authorize it, didn't authorize it, who cares? Rule of law, who cares? 3 branches of government, who cares? No, now the intelligence agencies can do any covert operation they like, or perhaps build private armies. Yes, that is part of what they're going for here, and it is public. They've admitted it. I'll share it with you in a second. So, by the way, I thought the Republicans were against the deep state. That creates a worse deep state than we've ever had. Okay, so Blackwater founder Eric Prince has recently pitched the administration on a private intelligence force that would report directly to President Donald Trump and CIA Director Mike Pompeo. Well, that's exactly how fascism goes. The fascists go outside of the rule of law, outside of democracy, and outside of the normal branches of government, and they become unaccountable except to the executive, who then has his own private army that he uses for God knows what and crushes his opposition. So that planning has not only begun, Eric Prince bragged about it in an op-ed earlier, now it's been passed into law. Okay, the intelligence community in its latest grasp has gone too far for even Richard Burr, The Intercept explains. Richard Burr is a deeply Republican conservative from North Carolina. He said the Republican chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee has long been one of the Senate's staunchest advocates for the intelligence agencies, leading to fight to reauthorize surveillance programs and fighting to bury the results of the Senate's 5-year investigation into CIA torture. But he took to the Senate floor Monday to warn that it would compromise Congress's ability to oversee secret intelligence programs. And they didn't listen to him. Here's a guy who loves the intelligence community, who gave him carte blanche over and over again, who said, oh, torture, what's the big deal? I'll let you cover it up. But even he is going, whoa, this means they're totally unaccountable. They never even have to come back to Congress, and God knows what they could do with that private army and the private CIA that they're now forming. Burr said, quote, effectively, the intelligence community could expend funds as it sees fit without an authorization bill in place. Warning, 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 not heeded. They kept it in the bill and it passed. Now we go to Democratic Senator Mark Warner. He says, if this exemption is granted, and it was, you could potentially have an administration, any administration, go off and take on covert activities, for example, with no ability for our committee, which spends time and has the oversight, to say time out or to say we actually disagree with that policy. Now, you think that this is theoretical? No. The planning has already begun and now authorized. So now we go to Raw's story for this part of the story. President Donald Trump is expected to choose the billionaire co-founder of Cerberus Capital Management, who has pushed for turning over the ongoing conflict in Afghanistan to mercenary armies and the CIA to lead the president's Intelligence Advisory Board. So now the president has an Intelligence Advisory Board that can help influence him in how to spend that money for his private armies. Now, one more twist. So why does he care? Why does this guy from this capital management group care? The report also notes that Feinberg, that's his name, has no experience in government, unsurprising, aside from his massive investment in military contractor DynCorp, but did donate $1 million 5 days before the election to Rebuild America Now, a Trump-supporting super PAC that went hard after Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Now, do you understand that? So a guy who has a lot of money in a defense contractor did a legal bribe called campaign contributions to a super PAC to Trump of $1 million. And in return for that $1 million, and by the way, Eric Prince and his family, which includes the DeVosses, also gave a ton of money to Trump. And what do they get in return? They get a private army and a private intelligence agency within the United States government, funded by us, the taxpayers, but with no accountability. This is exactly how fascism begins. And now it's in the law, so it has begun. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.